Hi guys, this is the next chapter, rotational dynamics. This is the basic reason why I have started with circular motion. In order to teach this chapter, the basic idea you need to know is circular motion. So I have teach those chapter. And another one topic was bending in circular motion. It was banking of roads, the most important topic. Why I have stopped this? Because you need to, when you're learning those ideas, you need some basic idea about laws of motion and free body diagram. When you're going about mechanics part 1, I definitely going to teach those chapters. Okay, now the reason why I started those circular motion is in order to teach this rotational dynamics. So for the rotational dynamics I give a basic idea about circular motion. You now have some good idea about it. This chapter is going to be very easy. Okay, this is a very high weightage chapter when you're going for NEET or JEE, because this is very important. These chapter comprising about 4 to 5 topics. I'll list it out. First topic is moment of inertia. The first topic I'm going to cover in this video, this topic I'm going to cover. And second one is torque. Third, angular momentum. And final, most important topic, rolling. As we are going to finish the rotational dynamics thing, so I will take these 2 to 3 parts. I will complete this entire chapter. The first topic is moment of inertia for different rigid body. I will make here. This is my first part. Let's see what is moment of inertia. Generally, what is rotation? What's rotation? This is a chapter we are going to deal about rotational dynamics. Whatever the object, something it seems to rotating, assumes this to be as a rod. We are reading about its mechanics, about its rotation, about its axis, or about its end, whatever. We are just going to read about its dynamics, about its rotation. The total entire mechanics we are going to read. Most important chapter. Let's see what's moment of inertia. Generally, we have some very good idea about inertia, which I have taken in my previous video. What is my inertia? The ability of object to resist change in motion. Sometimes the object is moving with a constant velocity and constant acceleration. It is sometimes reaching here. I am going to take another body. It's a lorry or bus. A lorry. You just take it, and this to assume like a car. This assume like a truck. It's moving with velocity and hitting as like an accident. Now you assume like this as a bicycle. Like a bicycle. It's moving with a constant acceleration. And at this, after some time, this is assumed like a bicycle. The same truck is going to hit it. What happened in both these cases? This is a case 1, a car. It follows this path. This is a case with bicycle. It follows this path. These both cases, which moves far, which moves far. Definitely I say that this bicycle. But in this case is resisting more. Whenever there's some object is hitting, is resisting more in changing in motion. Inertia says that the ability of object to resist is change in motion. So this object has more inertia and this object has less inertia. That's final conclusion. You have some very good idea about inertia. Now, yeah, inertia is totally depend upon its mass. Mass is a key factor, is totally depending upon. Whenever the object has a more mass, it come definitely has some more inertia. That's it. I give some basic idea of inertia. It's already given in my previous video. Now, what is moment of inertia? As like that same inertia when we are discussing about rotation, where inertia comes in place, hence we call it as moment of inertia. Nothing is going to different. The inertia when we are discussing about in motion in 2D is simply we call it about inertia. Likewise in these cases, when you are dealing about this rotational dynamics, we have some different terms which comes in place, that's called as moment of inertia. Okay, now what's the first topic is we are going to read about the moment of inertia about the different rigid bodies. Example, we are starting up with the rod and what's that, sphere, ring, disc. This comprises solid, hollow, and cylinder. This case is also solid, hollow, and square, rectangle. All this body we are going to discuss about is moment of inertia at both at the center as well as towards end. Okay, so before I'm going to start, you need to only in this topic you need to only learn some formulas. That's what important. The formula is important. Okay, in this topic the formula is the plays a major role. When you learn these all these formula, definitely one need questions or JE questions are coming in this part. Also moment of inertia part, and this moment of inertia for different rigid bodies, very important. I'm going to start with the formula. First, moment of inertia for rod at the center. Suppose you assume like seems to be a rod at the center. This axis of rotation, it has some inertia. What is the formula for that inertia at the center is ml square by 12. Here L refers to be length of the rod. This entire length of the rod is L. This is the formula you just keep into memory. This is the mass of the object, mass of this rigid body. What's the mass of the rod is m, and L is the length and total length of the rod. This is the moment of inertia for the rod at the center. It all in the eject axis. What's that? Eject axis. You have some idea about x axis and y axis and eject axis. This is for eject axis. For the rotation, its moment of inertia is ml square by 12 at the center. Next, for the ring. For the ring, what's the ring? It's like a hollow circle. It's called as ring. Towards the center axis of rotation. Okay, what's the formula for this moment for this ring? Is mr square. Just got it right. Here m is the mass of this ring or shell. R is the radius. What's that? R is the radius. This is moment of inertia for the ring at the center. Okay, at the center, it's an inertia, moment of inertia. Next, for the disk, at the center, what's its moment of inertia? Simple, mr square by 2. That's it. This is a basic formula. When you have to remember, first these 3 formula you just remember. When you know this, you can frame for other things. I give some short tricks too. Before going to the chapter, you have to learn some 2 theorems. Okay, when you know these 2 theorems, you can find, I just only given the formula at the center. Center means this is, you just assume like this is to be a rod, this is the center, you assume this point to be center, this is the center axis where it's rotating. When they asking about its end, when it's rotating, what is moment of inertia? This is the rotation. This is the rotation at the end. Now they ask moment of inertia when it's rotating at its end. Then what you will do? You no need to remember some separate formulas. I will give some short tricks. To know those short tricks, you just want to learn some 2 theorems. What's the theorem? 2 theorem. One is perpendicular axis theorem. And other one is parallel axis theorem. This is the most important. The problems regarding the NEET and JEE were asked in these areas. Most of the problems were asked. Definitely one questions were coming in these areas. So this is the basic, you just have more concentration towards it. Let's start with an perpendicular axis theorem. I'm just going to start with that perpendicular axis theorem. Whatever the rigid body, it has 3 planes. You already know that it has some 3 planes. What's that? X plane, Y plane and Z plane. I'm just going to mention it here. This is X. This is inertia towards X axis, moment of inertia to X axis. This is towards Y axis, and this is towards Z axis. Set. Assume these to be a 3D plane. It has 3 planes, that are X plane, Y plane, Z plane. So inertia must be has some in all 3 planes. It has some inertia. Whatever the rigid body, this is not a proper shape. Whatever the rigid body, whether it may be a disc, sphere, or anything, even the rod, all these we have some X axis, Y axis, and Z axis. Whatever the formulas I have given previously, is totally I have given formulas for Z axis. You just keep in memory in this. Whatever formula I given for you, for the previously was the rod and ring and disc. What's the rod? ml square by 12, ring mr square, and disc mr square is totally Z axis. Okay. Now what's the perpendicular axis theorem says? Simply I have just mentioned with the formula that Iz equal to Ix plus Iy. So simple formula. For the Iz plane, moment of inertia is equal to sum of inertia of x-axis plane and y-axis plane. So simple formula. You have this idea, can use it out. Sometimes you just see in this topic, I given its first center towards the x-axis, z-axis. If they ask the question regarding the x-axis and y-axis, you simply use this formula. Generally for a rod, from moment of inertia on x-axis and y-axis are remaining same. Okay. For z-axis, you already have a formula. What's the ml square by 12? You have for the rod, I'm just making here ml square by 2 formula. You already knows that inertia of x-axis or y-axis is merely same for the rod and most of the object it seems to be same. So I'm making 2 into ix because these two are same. Just I'm moving to here. What's that? ml square by 24 is the moment of inertia along the x-axis as well for y-axis. Likewise, you can knowing the value of one axis, that is z-axis, you can find for any other axis by using perpendicular axis theorem. This is the first theorem we have just completed. Just moving for another theorem, parallel axis theorem. Very, very important. What's the parallel axis theorem? Sometimes you assume like a rod. You already know that at the center its axis of rotation, what's be the formula? ml square by 12. Sometimes they're asking towards the end. I already said that towards the end, what's the formula? They ask, if they ask likewise, supposed to be here. Suppose the here. What is this axis of rotation? Likewise, you already know the moment of inertia of rotating here at the center. You already knows that m square. Suppose they ask at the center at the end. Then what's the rotation? Simple thing. A common formula. At any point when there is parallel, you assume these two are parallel. Likewise, these two are parallel. These two are parallel. When these two are parallel, you can apply the parallel axis theorem. What's the formula? I at this point, inertia at this point, moment of inertia at this point equal to I naught. I naught means the inertia at the center. I naught means inertia at this point. Inertia at the center plus m into r square. What's the r here? The distance between the center and the end. This is referred to be as r. This is known as r. This is the common formula. So simple but most important, and we are using this formula in most parts. Okay. Generally I am going with the question because in this chapter you have to learn lots and lots of problems. So problem based chapter, most weighted chapter, mostly they are going to ask a problem. So in this chapter we are going to discuss lots and lots of problems. Suppose this was a question. This is a rod. Find the, what the question is, find the moment of inertia of rod perpendicular to the axis passing to the point at equidistance from the center from and one end. That means what the question is actually, this is the center. Find the moment of inertia of the point which is perpendicular to its axis, which is perpendicular towards the axis and equidistance from the both the center and its one end. That's what the question. This was the equidistance. This was the question. This was equidistance. If this is supposed to be the, here you assume like this distance to be x, so this distance also seems to be x. You got right? This was the equidistance meaning. So this inertia, we have to find this. This was the question. Okay, this was actually the question. We already know that moment of inertia to the center is, for the rod is ml square by 12. You assume these to be the parallel one. So we can use the parallel axis theorem. For using a parallel axis theorem, what we require is moment of inertia at the center and mass into r square. What's r? This distance. This distance is that. This distance is r. This we need to find. For finding this, what we need to do? Generally already knows that this entire length is L. Okay. Now, what's this length? What about this length? That's L by 2. Because this is a center point. This is L. Then what becomes in this length? L by 2. Now they already said that this distance and this distance are equal. So this distance, what's that? This distance, this r distance must be L by 4. You got it right? Or the final you got right a clear meaning about how I found this distance. This is L by 2. This entire distance is L by 2. When it becomes these become equidistant. I already said that equidistant means this distance and this distance are equal. So I am dividing this distance by half. L by 2 divided by half, it becomes L by 4. So this R I finally found. For this, applying this formula, I entirely got all the values. I got moment of inertia towards center, mass and length. So I am applying this formula. That's I at this point is equal to, what is the I naught? ml square by 12 plus m into what's the distance? L by 4. Then I am squaring up L square by 60. I just got L square by 60. I just making cross multiplication. I finally got 16 ml square plus 12 ml square by 48. 16 into 12. It's bringing 4 common out and just cancelling out here. Square plus 4 ml square plus 3 ml square by 16 into 12. Just cancelling out 4. Finally, what I got? What's the answer? Final answer is 7 ml square by 48. This is at the point. At this point, what's the inertia? What's the inertia at this point? We finally found it. What? 7 ml square by 48. We got the answer. That's it, the answer. Now you have some clear idea about how to use this parallel axis theorem. Okay, so simple. Now I already given the problem for, I just solved it how to for using this inertia for the rod. How I used the perpendicular axis theorem and found that one axis to other axis, how to find the moment of inertia. When you are knowing about the one axis, we can found is moment of inertia for other two axes also we can found. I already given some problem. Same problem, I no need to repeat it formula. Repeat this same problem. This is applicable for entirely for this disc or sphere, whatever the thing. You generally use this. Whenever you knowing the moment of inertia of one axis, you can generally found for other two axes. This is by using perpendicular axis theorem. What's the parallel axis theorem? When the question is asking about the some distance from the center, when the parallel to it, perpendicular towards the axis and parallel towards the moment of inertia at the center. At that case, you can use parallel axis theorem and finding at the moment of inertia of any point along this axis. Very simply we can. Now I am taking another important question. What's the important, very very important question, and finally closing it. Moment of, what's the question is, find the, look, this was the question, find moment of inertia of ring about tangent in plane body. This was the question. Suppose you assume this to be a ring. For the tangent, you already know the tangent. What's the meaning of tangent? A line passing by touching the circle at one point. That's called tangent. Okay, this is along the, it must be always along the IX plane or IY plane. This is a basic idea. I given some hint. Okay, this is a hint I given. The tangent, it must be moves along its XY plane, X plane or Y plane, and touching the circle at a one point. This is the basic idea of tangent. You just already know in the basic idea about tangent in your previous classes and lower classes, the 9th and 10th. So I just give some hint. Now what's the question is, what's the moment of inertia along this axis, this tangent? This was the question. Now what we have, what generally we have, this is what I have. Along the center we have the formula, what's the Iz equal to mr square. This is the common formula we have. along the z-axis. This is z-axis towards the center. I already said that whatever I given the formula is all for z-axis. For the center, Iz equal to m r square. Okay, it may be this way, whatever this way or this way. Assume this is assume these to be a center. Okay. Now we need to find for this. Generally we have some idea for z-axis. Now we can what theorem we can apply it here? Parallel axis theorem, perpendicular axis theorem. What we can apply it here? Now this is for x-axis. Okay. Now this is, suppose these to be the object. This is assume these to be the object. This is a rigid body that's assumed like a circle. They ask the question along this direction. This is the direction of it. This is the direction we have to find. But what we generally have along this direction, we have a formula. We can directly apply the parallel axis theorem. It's not possible. When we can apply parallel axis theorem, suppose the question is asked in this way. The question is asked in this way. Find it in this direction. Now these two are parallel. Generally we can take it first step itself. We can put a parallel axis theorem and solve. But in this case, this is not actually. This is in this direction. So the direction is different. We can apply. Do not apply the parallel axis theorem. What we can make? I generally convert this axis into this axis. I convert this axis into this. Generally have formula for this. I already said that when you have formula for one axis, we can find it for other two axes. So I'm making this axis. I can find it out using perpendicular axis theorem. Now you see that these two are parallel. Now these two directions are parallel. I can apply it here. What's that? Parallel axis theorem and find it out. So simple. You got the idea about this question. Now I'm solving up here. Now we have z plane. On the first step I said I need to convert it. When I need what the first step I said I need to convert into x plane. That's what the first step. I'm just making it. I have what's the perpendicular axis theorem? Iz equal to ix plus iy. What's the iz? M r square. What's the ix and iy are same. So I'm just making I2 ix. M r square by 2 is for the x plane. For this direction, I generally find out what's that m r square by 2. For this direction is m r square, and this direction, this y-axis, x-axis direction is m r square by 2. Now what we need to find for this direction? So now I'm going to apply it as parallel axis theorem. From this point to this point, I found it this direction. I found it for this direction. This direction I already found it. Now I found it. Now for the question is this direction. What's the parallel axis theorem? I want to find this distance. Or the distance, this was the distance. What's the distance? Common. Radius. Okay, now I want to apply it. What's that parallel axis theorem? It says that I at any point is known as I at the center plus m r square. So it apply. What's the I naught? Here what's the I naught here? M r square by 2. This is here, it's I naught. Plus m into what's the r? Radius r is the r square. That's all the distance. So don't make any changes here. Just cross multiplicating here. Or the final answer I'm going to get 3 m r square bit. That's it, the answer. The inertia at this point, the final moment of inertia of the ring above the tangent in the plane body is answer to is there. Then likewise the questions will be framed in a JEE and as well as in the NEET. How I'm going to solve the combination of both a parallel axis theorem and perpendicular axis theorem. I have solved it. How I solved is so simple. This is what the question. Let's move. So for other rigid bodies, you should know the formulas alone, because the formulas are most important when you're going for solving the torque equilibrium. Equilibrium case not required. For the non-equilibrium cases, this formula should be used to finding the torque. That's what these formulas keep on repeating for finding the acceleration. For the different cases you read in after this part, I already said the torque and acceleration, momentum, angular momentum. For all these topics, these formulas are important. So this is the basic. You just have some clear idea about it. Now for other object, you just see. For the alloys, you just keep the formula in memory. For the alloy cylinder, I just give some tricks. What's the alloy cylinder? It's like this. It's like it seems to like a ring. Yeah. So I'm giving the same formula. You don't need to worry about m r square. That's why I just given some earlier formulas. Moment of inertia at the center is m r square. For the same formula for ring, the hollow cylinder. For hollow cylinder, the same formula for ring, moment of inertia is same. For the solid cylinder, it's like this. It seems like a disc. Yes or no? This seems to be a disc. So same formula for disc, this formula. M r square by 2. So moment of inertia for solid cylinder and disc is same. And moment of inertia for hollow cylinder and ring are same. Okay, you have some short tricks. So simple. Now for solid sphere. This formula you have to keep in memory. This is a completely different formula. I equal to 2 by 5 m r square along. This was the formula. Towards the along the center, the solid sphere formula is 2 by 5 m r square. For the hollow sphere, what's the formula? I equal to 2 by 3 m r square. These two formulas are new to you. You just want to keep in remember. Next, for the square, this is seems like a square. In this case, just now to ix plane, iy plane, and iz plane. This is ix plane, iy plane, iz plane. For ix, moment of inertia is ma square by 12. A is distance. All the square, all the size distance are same. So ma square. For the same iy plane, same formula ma square by 12. Now what's for iz plane? We already know that by using the solid using the perpendicular theorem, when you're knowing these two planes, ix plane, iy plane, I can easily compute the formula for iz plane. What's that formula? Iz equal to ix plus iy. So what's the formula? ma square by 12 plus 2 ma square by 12. 2 ma square by 12 is equal to ma square by 6. That's it. Yeah, fine. Now finally find the rectangle. You just keep in memory in all these formulas. The formulas are very important. Just know for all these rigid bodies, you should know the formula. Moment of inertia. This is rectangle. Rectangle. For ix plane, iy plane, and iz plane. For iy plane, what's the formula is mb square by 12. This is the b length. What's the x plane? Ix equal to ma square by 12. In rectangle, the sides distance are different. This is to be a, this is to be b. For the square, all the sides are same, but the rectangle, the opposite sides are equal, but adjacent sides are not equal. That's why I'm mentioning here ma square by 12 and b square by 12. For the iz plane, you already know that by computing, when you have some two planes, the ix plane, I plane, you can generally compute for iz plane. That's why I'm making ix plus making here I set equal to ix plus iy. What's ix plus I? ma square by 12 plus mb square by 12. That's it. This is a complete formula for moment of inertia for entire rigid bodies. All these formulas you generally have in your textbooks also. NCERT textbooks you have, as well as for the metric you also add all these formulas in your textbooks. You generally want to starting this chapter rigid body dynamics, rotational dynamics. First important thing is reading all these formulas. You just whenever I ask you, just you have to remember. That's it. I'm going closing this topic. In your next topic, you're just going to see the torque at equilibrium places and non-equilibrium places. Very, very important. Most of the problematic and conceptual questions were asked in this area. Before starting this chapter, you just know all these formulas. This is very important. Okay. Bye guys. Let's see next session.